Hey guys, Jamie here with The Point of It All. Today we're looking at the Gamevice Flex controller for your Android phone. This controller looks very much like the original Razr Kishi version 1, and that's because GameFlex partnered with Razr to make that controller. Let's see if the Gamevice Flex is any better than the original Kishi version 1. Let's unbox this bad boy and see what we got. Now, the first thing you'll see is that it is branded by Xbox, and it is, well, designed as an Xbox compatible controller. Not really compatible with Xbox, but the Game Pass service itself. In fact, in the box, you get a trial period of Game Pass subscription service as well. So, as you can see from the cover, it does mimic an Xbox controller as far as the button layout goes. Let's take a look real quick and see what's in the box. So, the controller is front and center as it should be, but let's unbox it real quick and see what's in there. As far as extra goodies, quick start guide if you will use the QC code. I never use those. You've got your manual, your Xbox Game Pass subscription trial version, and you got a quick layout of what each button does if you're not familiar with the layout of an Xbox controller, right? So now something that's different with this controller that's in the box is that it does come with, they call them adapters. I like to call them spacers because basically they make up the difference inside the controller where your phone might leave a space. So, I mean, it's impossible to make a controller to fit every phone, but Gamevice did a great job of adapting to the several different manufacturers of Android phones out there. So basically, when you put your phone into this controller, you might find that there's going to be spaces or excess space where there isn't an exact fit. And these spacers or these adapters are supposed to fill in those gaps for you. That's all they're for. I think it's a genius idea. It definitely makes this controller more compatible with more phones, and that's always a good thing. If you are familiar with the backbone controller for iPhone, you'll know that they had an issue with iPhone 13 phones not fitting in that controller. So they had to make a special adapter, a rubber bumper, that they started to ship with the controller. Now, when this first came about, there was no bumper included in the box. You had to buy it extra. But luckily, Backbone started including it for free. And I think at one point they started shipping them out for free as well. So this is the Backbone controller. You can see that spacer right here that makes you compatible with your iPhone 13 Pro Max. But let's get back to while we're here, and that's the Gamevice Flex controller. Now, I mentioned the Razr Kishi version 1, and I have that here somewhere. What did I do with it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the original Kishi made by Gamevice, but it's branded by Razr. You can see the Razr branding there. They do share some similarities. In fact, I mean the design is pretty much the same, but there's a really big difference between the two. Now, the original Kishi was smaller as well. You can look at the difference there, right? And that size really does play into why this is a bigger controller, and we're going to get right to it. Now, another advantage to this one over the Kishi version 1 is that the new GameFlex has an audio out jack, headphone jack for your gaming with a headphone, right? With a wired headphone, rather. The Kishi version 1 didn't have that. But the rest, they're very similar. The Xbox layout I mentioned, this is also clickier than the Kishi version 1, right? You can listen, hear that, and then here's the Kishi. Quieter, mushier buttons there. Because this controller is bigger as well, there's more space for your palm to rest, which should come down to less hand fatigue or thumb fatigue in your left hand particularly, right? So real quick, you get the guide button for the Xbox layout, or it was a home button on the Kishi version 1. You get your left and right thumbsticks, A, B, X, Y, Xbox layout. On the top, you've got your left and right bumpers, and then your left and right triggers as well. The triggers, by the way, feel amazing on this controller. Actually, they feel very similar to the Kishi version 1. They have the similar amount of travel to them, which is great. Very much like your Xbox controller. And then on the bottom, you've got, I mentioned your headphone jack pass-through, audio pass-through, and you've got your USB-C charging pass-through as well. So that means that you can game while you're charging your phone. You can still game. Pretty neat. On the back, you've got your plate that holds the two halves together, and to unlock them, you just flip up this unlock mechanism here, top and bottom, and that unlocks the controller. Now, I mentioned the size difference between this and the Kishi version 1. I'm just going to open this up real quick so that you guys can see the difference as well when they're spread apart. There we go. There we go. You can see just a pretty sizable difference there, right? So here's why that space is there, right? The Gamevice, to me, is superior to all other controllers for Android, for your Android phone, because it accepts your phone with the case installed, right? See, my case is installed there, and I'm not going to remove it. I'm just going to pop it in there, and it's ready to go. All right. Now, this is where I mentioned that space, the spacers and the adapters. You can see there's a little bit of play on the left side of my phone right here. You can see it wobbling there. If I was really worried about that, I could install some of those spacers to close that gap. But to be honest with you, when I'm out and about, I don't want to worry about that. I just want to pop my controller on my phone and play, right? I mean, I might do it at some point. If those spacers are a permanent fixture, not permanent, but I don't have to worry about them falling out, I might do that. But otherwise, I am totally cool with this. I mean, it's not, my phone's not going anywhere. Like, there's not that much play involved. You know what I mean? It feels stable to me, you know? So to me, the fact that this fits in my controller with the case on is just a really, really positive thing to me. I know when I take my iPhone out and about with my backbone controller, I just hate fiddling with my case just to play a game. You know what I mean? By the time I get everything together, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. I might have my phone out in my car while my wife is in the store shopping or waiting for my kids to come back from school. I get everything set up, and now it just takes away from your gaming time, basically. So to me, this controller with this extra space inside the body to accommodate to accommodate phones inside their case wins hands down to me every time. Every single time. I will say this though, I mean, you do pay a price for the added space because you have to find a case to fit this thing. And everything that I've come across so far is really, really bulky. And it's just, I mean, if only there was a way to make this smaller with that same feature involved, where it could still hold your phone within a case. But you got to have some give and take, and that's just a compromise I have to live with. But to me, I love the controller. Control-wise, it feels great. No complaints whatsoever. So if I were you guys and you're in the market for a controller for your Android phone, you could do a whole lot worse than the Gamevice Flex. And in fact, it's my go-to controller. Highly recommended for your Android phone. Guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you like my videos, please be sure to subscribe and like and leave comments. I answer them right away. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content, and there's many, many more videos to come. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Until the next time, I'll see you soon. Peace.